I think ethical consumerism is here to stay. If it was a trend, I mean, the reason why I feel confident saying that is looking at how our competition kind of shrinks and grows. If it growed and then shrunk and didn't grow after that, I'd say, okay, this might have been a fad. However, we see, as people leave the market now, we see people entering the market. And it's like, well, why would you want to enter the market if you're also seeing a whole bunch of people going out of business? And the thing is that I think people really see the potential. I don't think it's gone away. You see mainstreaming of brands. You can just look at a great case study would be Fair Trade Coffee. I remember when I was a student at the University of Waterloo, it was a big deal for the engineering coffee and donut shop when they got Fair Trade Coffee because no one had Fair Trade Coffee. No one even knew what Fair Trade Coffee was. And now it's almost 50-50 when you go to the grocery store, seeing a Fair Trade certified or a Rainforest Alliance certified coffee. There's a whole lot of different certifications. I mean, Clorox has a green line of cleaning detergent. And the question is that if it was a fad, why bother with it? Clorox is going to sell millions and millions of dollars of cleaning products. If they really thought it was a fad, they wouldn't have bothered to create an entirely new brand around it. And more importantly, that brand wouldn't continue to exist. It would, capitalize on the fad and then go away, like a lot of brands around fads do. And when you look at companies like Groupons, that I actually do think the Groupon type companies have, stumbled upon a fad, and the fad has now gone away. They're not doing as well. You don't see a lot of daily deals anymore. But ethical consumerism hasn't really, it's only grown in the past 7 years since I first became aware of it. And I don't see it plateauing, and I don't see it declining, and I don't see it remaining niche. I actually see it becoming more mainstream. And that's great because that's the goal of Ethical Ocean. That's why we started Ethical Ocean, to try to promote mainstreaming ethical consumerism. Now that being said, that's a blessing and a curse because as ethical consumerism gets more mainstream, our job becomes so much harder because we're now competing, we're not competing against, a couple of small sites or a couple of small local stores. We're competing against, Walmart. We're competing against Loblaws. We're competing against big multinational brands that are trying to enter the ethical consumerism market because they see the potential in it and somewhat the potential that companies like us have helped demonstrate. So it puts us on, a much more accelerated, a much more defensive stance. It's like, okay, we showed that this is a real thing. Now we have to protect it. We have to make sure that because our success doesn't lead to our own demise in being pushed out by bigger and bigger companies. But I definitely see it continuing to increase, and I definitely see it continue to be more mainstream. My goal when I started the company, and I don't remember, I'm probably somewhere I put it on paper or in some video, said that I wanted to start Ethical Ocean because I wanted people to buy ethical products without actually giving thought to they were buying ethical products, just because that's the products you buy. And I see that actually starting to come into fruition. I see people buying products without even realizing they're ethical because there's just so many ethical products, because there's so many companies who want to get into that market. So that was my social goal. As a business goal, you gotta sort of say, okay, now that you've sort of proven the market, how do you protect it as well?